All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be talking about Atlassian Intelligence and AI within the Atlassian ecosystem. And just wanted to take a minute to introduce myself and allow my counterpart and friend, Brian, to introduce himself as well. My name is Sam Ayers. I'm an engagement director here at Valiantys North America. And it's awesome to be with you, Brian.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Dar. I am the head of enablement at Valiantys, and I'm an Atlassian certified expert as well. We both love nerding out on this stuff. So happy
That's
to be
right.
here.
That's right. All right. Well, awesome. So, just before we go any further, I'll kind of get the who we are out of the way, and then we can get into some of the demonstrations that we want to talk about today, and then some of the content. But on a high level, I just like to give everybody just a sense of who we are as a company and what we do. And so, just a couple of real quick things. We've worked with and have been in a partner with Atlassian for over 16 years. We are a global partner within the Atlassian ecosystem. And then we are a 12-time Atlassian Partner of the Year award winner.
Hopefully 13 this year.
Yeah, hopefully 13, fingers crossed. And I think maybe most importantly, out of all these things, we're a Platinum Solutions partner with Atlassian. And ultimately, what that means is people like myself and Brian, we have a deep understanding of Atlassian's products as well as experience implementing them and customizing the products for our clients. And so this means that we provide a series of services, and chiefly among those is our consulting on the Atlassian ecosystem. We consult and specialize on the full Atlassian suite of tools, catering to organizations of various sizes. We offer licensing services for you. If you have Atlassian products, please contact us. We can handle your licensing and renewals for you. We handle training, and not unlike the free webinar that you're experiencing right now, but we have extensive training programs. One of our more well-known training program is our Jira, or one of our more well-known training programs is our Jira Bootcamp, which is for Jira software. We have one for Jira Service Management and one for Confluence. Often our Jira Bootcamp and Confluence Bootcamp happen at the same time. And then also we have a Jira Line Bootcamp. And really most of these bootcamps are for specifically Jira admins. And so I've actually gone through the bootcamp myself. Brian's actually developed most, if not all, of the curriculum for our boot camps.
A lot of them, yeah.
And it's excellent. I can't suggest it or get behind it enough. It really takes you end to end as a Jira admin and what your life will kind of be in the tools, and is super helpful. So if you have any questions about our training, boot camps, etc., please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll have our contact information at the end of the engagement here today. And then we also have Atlassian User Academy, so we don't forget about the day-to-day user. And so these training sessions are truly that. They're helping folks that are using the tools day in and day out be successful in using them. And it's not at the admin level, it's more of the day-to-day use. And then our secret sauce is our custom development and integration team, who are well known for creating these custom developed interfaces that live on top of Atlassian tools through Angular and other coding languages. And so there's some really exciting things that we can do within the ecosystem from a custom development standpoint. And so essentially the gist there is, if it doesn't exist, our developers can work and make that dream a reality.
Yeah, we always want to do in the tool. If not in the tool, then in the ecosystem. If not in the ecosystem, then we can build it for you.
Exactly. Awesome. Okay, so as promised, enough about us. I just wanted to talk about, at this point, our agenda for today and what we aim to cover. And so really, we're going to talk about what is Atlassian Intelligence. If you're not familiar with the tool set, pricing information, we're going to get into some demonstrations, talk about what's coming soon, also talk a little bit about Rovo today. And then we're going to talk about also our upcoming webinars and give you just a sense of what's coming down the pipeline for anything that might pique your interest. And then maybe most importantly, we like to hear from you guys at the end. And so we'll try to leave ample time at the end for questions. And then Brian and I will do our best to answer. And if we don't have an immediate answer, we'll be sure to follow up with you guys after, because we love your questions, and really, quite frankly, don't want to leave you hanging. So we'll spend some time in Q&A. Also, just a quick reminder as well, in the Zoom meeting itself, there is a Q&A button. Don't hesitate to put your Q&A questions in while we're moving through the content. We don't want you to forget those questions as we're going through things, so feel free. It's not going to distract us. Put those questions in as we're moving through the content. We're more than happy to address them at the end. So as you're thinking about them, put them in. All right. Well, with any webinar, I typically try to answer the question, what is it and how does it work, when I'm talking about a product or a feature within Atlassian tools. And really at its core, Atlassian Intelligence helps teams accelerate work, increase efficiency, and provide value faster using AI. And I know that's very generic and sounds like a canned response, and we'll hopefully unpack that a little bit as we're moving on to demystify what I just said. It sounds very businessy. So for example, to bring it a little bit more grounded here, it allows you to generate and transform content within Atlassian tools. It allows you to summarize critical details. It helps you find the work you need fast. Those are pretty general things that it does, but there's much, much more. And again, we'll try to unpack some of that today. So Atlassian Intelligence, just pulling back the curtain a little bit, it leverages artificial intelligence developed internally from OpenAI. It uses what Atlassian refers to as the teamwork graph, which is unique to your team's project or service work, along with internal language models and OpenAI to deliver results specific to your company's context or your organization's context.
I like to think about it kind of like ChatGPT, but trained on your data.
Exactly.
Which can sound scary, and we're going to cover about that. Like, it's not trained on your data for everybody else.
Yes.
It's just for you.
Exactly.
So we're going to get to the security in a bit, but I like to think about it like as a private ChatGPT.
It's a great way to put it. Great way to put it. So how does it work? Atlassian Intelligence combines state-of-the-art models developed by OpenAI with the power and data, just like what Brian is saying, within the Atlassian platform. And this means that Atlassian provides a native artificial intelligence experience that is contextual to you, your teams, your workflows, just your day-to-day, how do you use the tools? And it's all in a way that respects your privacy the privacy of your data. And so that's actually a segue in what Brian was saying too, into what I want to talk about just on a high level. So there's a lot of uncertainty still about AI nowadays, and we want to address one of the more prevalent questions that comes up with the tool, and that's how is the data that I'm putting into it being handled? So I will say, and I'll show you guys how to do this later on actually, but artificial intelligence, or AI, Atlassian Intelligence rather, is opt-in only at the org admin level. And so in other words, you have to be an org admin within your instance, which is the highest level of permissions within an Atlassian cloud organization. And you have to intentionally switch this feature set on. So it's not something that's just going to be switched on. You have to be decisive in doing so. And then also what's nice is you can actually toggle on Atlassian Intelligence on a tool-by-tool basis. So for example, if you want your development teams that are in Jira Software predominantly to have access to AI functionality, but not those using Confluence, you're at liberty to do so. You can switch it on for JSM, but not for Confluence. You can switch it on for Jira Software, but not for JSM, just for a couple of examples. Real key point here as well, inputs aren't stored. So none of the inputs or outputs from AI are stored or used by Atlassian or their partners, us, to train their models. So inputs and outputs, again, probably obvious, but just to reiterate, refer to data that users are inputting into your Atlassian products and in turn are analyzed by Atlassian Intelligence. None of them are stored.
So in other words, like if you're in company A and you're using Atlassian Intelligence, it's only looking at company A, and there's a wall between that and somebody in company B looking at theirs. So your inputs are not going to go over there. Their data is not going to come over here. It is completely separated.
Yep, exactly. It respects your permissions and data residency. So Atlassian Intelligence respects all existing permissions. That means Atlassian or Jira permissions, and then your data residency where it resides. So it's going to respect, for example, whether you have access to issues that you're searching for within Atlassian tools. It's going to respect that project level permission, perhaps. And then all data is processed and transmitted in accordance with Atlassian's privacy policy, data processing addendum, and then GDPR commitment. To date, it is not HIPAA compliant, so something to consider if you're in healthcare. Most recently, I'm happy to say that SOC 2 and ISO are supported now as of the beginning of this year. So that's been a recent development that we've been keeping a close eye on for our clients. And then lastly, Atlassian Intelligence does currently leverage, as I think I mentioned earlier, large language models from OpenAI. I will say each data request, though, is sent to OpenAI individually over an SSL encrypted service to process and send back to Atlassian. So again, to put it all in one nice tiny bow, or a nice bow, Atlassian really does truly try to respect your data privacy with this tool.
And if you want to, send information to your InfoSec team, as you should, you can always go to Atlassian.com/trust, and they have everything about the platform, including Atlassian Intelligence in there for your company to vet, to see for themselves how secure it is.
Yep. It's great. Cool. Just real quickly, too, I want to talk about pricing information, just so you're aware as you're considering this possibly for your organization. Atlassian Intelligence is only available for premium and enterprise license tier customers. I will say, too, somewhat recent development, limits on usage are also now in place. And the short version, if I could put it succinctly, is if you abuse it, you lose it. It's not unlike ChatGPT, where you just keep asking the same question over and over again. It'll say, whoa, you need to stop, slow down here. If there's been a disproportional use of Atlassian Intelligence by a user, they're going to receive an error message stating that they've exceeded their usage limit. So if you're familiar with ChatGPT, it'll present a lot like that.
Admittedly, I've never seen that myself. Have you?
No, I have not. I have not tested it yet. I'm kind of curious, like, how can I make AI mad? We'll see. Bot? Yeah, right. And I will say, too, on the more extreme side, if you misuse Atlassian Intelligence and it's been detected, it can be deactivated for your whole site.
I did experience. I mean,
did you?
I didn't have it deactivated, but I tried to have it analyze user sentiment, but then add a random digit at the end and not explain why. Just to this guy's a 4.2. It's like, well, why 0.2? I don't know. And it refused. It said that would be misleading, and it's outside of what it considers okay. So it will not intentionally mislead users.
Yes. Oh, that's really funny.
It was kind of disappointing, but also in line with Atlassian's high standards.
That's true. Yeah, and I will say, to Brian's point, you got to stay inside the confines of Atlassian's acceptable use policy, and then you're not going to run into the aforementioned problems. So just a quick note on that. But yes, limits on usage do technically exist to date. All right. So at this point, I just want to walk you through some of the high-level features and functionality within Confluence and Jira specifically. And then a little bit later on, we can talk on a little bit of a high level about Jira Service Management, and then also Rovo, I think is the plan. So with that, let me exit out of my presentation here. Oh, thank you. All right. And let's go over and start in Jira. Although, as promised, I want to actually show you, if you happen to fall into the org admin category, I want to show you how you would actually switch on these features, or at least Atlassian Intelligence, on a per product basis. And so I personally kind of go in a little bit roundabout way here, but you would go to Jira settings, or at least what I refer to as Jira settings. I don't even know if anybody calls it that. The settings cog, it's probably got 20 different names. But you'll end up in the admin section of the tool. And then you go into settings here. And then you'll see this new section here. And again, you have to be an org admin here, but you've got Rovo, and then you've got Atlassian Intelligence. And really, it's as simple as selecting the product that you want to toggle on, and you check the box and hit next. And I've already done that for Confluence and Jira in this particular instance.
And if you have multiple instances of Jira, you could turn on for one but not the other.
Yes, that's a really good point.
Needs, yeah.
That's a really good point.
Also, we're gonna cover it later, but you saw Atlassian Intelligence and Rovo are separate things. Atlassian Intelligence is the one that's baked into baked into once you turn it on into the premium and enterprise versions, and that's generic AI, which we're gonna go into in depth. Rovo is a separate agentic. There's a fancy word, chat product.
Yeah.
Which will allow you to basically interact with AI.
Yeah, that's a really good distinction. Yep. Very good. Cool. So as promised, at this point, we're going to start looking at a few of the more prominent features, I would say, within Jira today. But first, let's go to one of these issues within the project. But real quick, I want to introduce just kind of what I've set up here. So I have kind of a fictional marketing team that's using what used to be called, I guess, a Jira work management project, but now I think it's all just Jira.
Yeah. Everything's being slowly pushed together.
Yes.
Jira Service Management, and then everything else.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that they made this look so much like Trello.
Right.
But yeah, basically like Jira Software and Jira Work Management are being rolled into just Jira.
Just Jira now. So I would have referred to this probably even, I don't even know, 3 months ago as a Jira work management project, but I think it's just Jira, just to be safe. So we are in just Jira. However, not just Jira, but the layout itself is a little bit different than what you would see in a conventional software project of some kind. But
they're also currently updating the UI across every instance over the course of this year. So you may be on the new UI already.
Yep.
We have a video on YouTube about that if you want to watch.
That's a really good point. And actually, maybe the next time you guys view this webinar, we may be able to look totally different. So buckle up. But that being stated, I want to show you in Jira and in Confluence 3 kind of basic features, and we'll get into a couple of what I've been referring to as bonus features of Atlassian Intelligence. But at a base level, I want to show you how to create content based on a prompt, rephrase it, or rephrase separate content, even from the content that we just created, or restructure it. So with that, let's just jump into a Jira issue that we've got on our board. So again, we're a marketing team. We're using a board to track a marketing campaign for implementing Atlassian Intelligence. And then I've got an adjoining Confluence page that we will jump into a little bit later on over here as well. So I'm going to start by opening just a Jira issue here. And our issue is fine. We've got our summary, we've got our description, but let's say I wanted to flesh out this description a little bit more. And so let's use Atlassian Intelligence to give us some more details. So once you've enabled it in your system, that is Atlassian Intelligence, you'll see this little, it almost looks like an anime, like when somebody's like perturbed, I don't know why but you'll see this little star logo. And you can highlight the text, and let's tell it something to do. So let's say add some ideas for how to approach leveraging social media for a marketing. And I'm always misspelling campaign. There we go. We'll hit enter.
And it does its thing.
And it does its thing. And what's nice is you've got a much more detailed description here. Maybe this is too much, but at least this gives you something that you could pare down if you like what's here. It gives you something to work with. A common theme that I mentioned with Atlassian Intelligence is sometimes it gives you too much. Maybe it doesn't give you enough, but it gives you something that you can work with and maybe help. And honestly, something you can bounce ideas off of in a lot of ways.
And you can even tell it, shorten it.
Exactly. Right. So let's say I'm happy with this, or I want to rephrase it. So here I'll highlight all the text. Maybe. There we go. Hit this. And
I love this menu. Just a lot of standard prompts just to help.
Yes, 100%. You kind of have your almost quick buttons here that you can interact with if you don't want to type anything in. But to Brian's point, let's make it shorter. Takes a few seconds. It's a little bit shorter. Let's insert, or actually replace. That's another feature that's kind of nice. You've put in a bunch of text. Maybe you want to put it below and compare the two. You can replace it. Pretty quick and easy. But here we have kind of a step-by-step bulleted list, a little bit shorter than what we had before. Kind of neat. Similarly, down here on my comments, I've purposely put some kind of passive aggressive, not so nice comments, or at least could be perceived that way. Maybe direct is a positive way of putting these.
Sure, yeah. Honest and open.
Honest and open. That's right. Let's say I want to change the tone of this comment, for example. And I've got this change tone to, and my favorite has been the empathetic because it's just very bubbly and nice. And so is anyone reading these? Is anyone out there reading these? It would mean a lot to know that someone is connecting with these words. Beautiful.
I want to be that person.
I want to be that person. I wish I was that person all the time. So I've rephrased my comment. It's much nicer and matches my smiling picture over here to the left.
This is incredibly helpful for service desk agents working in Jira Service Management.
Yes.
Is it plugged in, dummy? Can be rephrased into, I'm so glad you reached out. Have you checked the power cord? That would be the first step in order to resolving your problem.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I love it. So as you can see here, and actually it didn't look like it's, there, I forgot to click save. So always remember to click save if you want something to stay. Something too, just in the realm of restructuring, you could highlight even maybe just the bulleted list. Let's try this out. There we go. The scroll bar is not wanting to respond. There we go. I think it's my mouse usage or lack thereof. There we go. And let's say reorder this list alphabetically. And there you go, A to Z. And we can click replace and it's ready to go. So in conclusion, just to kind of wrap this part up, we have a much more, or maybe arguably more operable task for our team. It's much more detailed than what we started with. And it was all done in a matter of seconds, honestly, leveraging the power of Atlassian Intelligence. So,
are we going to cover the child issue?
Oh, no, we could definitely try that. Would you like to jump in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you think of this as in Jira speak, an epic, it could be a project in anybody else's terms. Let's say that we're going to do a campaign and you want to add some child issues.
Yeah.
You can also come down here and say, suggest subtasks for this.
Look at that.
And it's going to generate those just like it did a list up there. It's going to crank those out. You can accept them, or you can mark them, or you can edit them. I mean, like they really thought of this well. And then that'll just generate your subtasks right there for you as well.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Same thing works with, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we were at a task.
No, but that's great.
The same thing works with an epic and then child tasks, or in this case, a task and then subtasks.
Oh, that's neat. I wasn't even actually aware that was there.
It's pretty, oh wow, and this is new too. They really updated the what is this called? The child issue view.
Yeah.
You're on a newer version than I am. This is wonderful.
Oh, look at that. You even got columns in the subtask menu now. That's cool.
Good job. It has nothing to do with the AI, but I'm just very happy to see
I know. I'm actually really happy to see this too. It was pretty vanilla as far as like if I'm remembering now.
It's just priority and assignee
status. Priority and assignee status. Yeah. Look at that.
That's really
There you go. You got some bonus content today, folks. We've got additional columns we can add. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, thanks for adding that color. That's great. Something that I'm actually kind of excited about as a Jira admin is the automation rule creation feature, which is pretty powerful. It's one of those features that you're like, I'll hold my reservations until I actually see it in action. And it does a shockingly good job at building automation rules rather quickly.
I haven't tried this one yet.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Let's jump into that one now. Let me get rid of some dialog boxes here. All right, I'm going to automation. So, let's say I'm a marketing project manager, for example. We've got this create with AI button here when we're enabled. And you can just pump in, let's say, when, this is a pretty common one, honestly, that we see folks implement or our clients implement. When all subtasks are completed, add a comment to the parent, letting the assignee know. And we'll hit enter and see what happens.
And like automation for Jira was already pretty easy to
Yes.
use. Wow.
Pretty neat. So you've got your trigger here, and that's an accurate trigger when an issue's transitioned to done. For parents, we've got our branch rule as we would expect. Then it also is able to parse through and add JQL, which is kind of neat. And then we're adding a comment to the issue. So syntactically, this rule is correct.
That's awesome.
Which is kind of neat.
And that was probably faster than I could click through and make it.
And I think that's kind of my point is like, even if you're a seasoned Jira admin and you know how the rule is supposed to be built, it just saves you a ton of time of having to click through. And again, the UI, like you said, it was already great, but it saves you a ton of time being able to click or not have to click through. Honestly, you already understand how the rule needs to be built.
And at the very least, even if I need to tweak it, I've got the structure now, which is, I think, the whole benefit of generative AI in the first place is it gives you a starting point.
Exactly.
But
100%.
I'm impressed with this. That was fast.
Yeah. Let's give it something a little bit, more difficult. Is created and social media is in the issue summary. Add the social, and I'm so sorry you folks have to watch me type. I got probably a C+ in typing class in high school, so.
And pretty soon it's all going to be voice prompted.
I was going to say this might be an antiquated, although I still think it's impressive when people can type fast, but it might be an antiquated talent. Same issue with target. We're really loaded up now. Influencers in the issue summary. Let's see what it does here. So again, a marketing oriented automation rule. Let's see what happens.
I know what half those words mean. This is not to knock the wonderful people in our marketing.
Exactly. Yes.
Made this webinar
I was going to say, yes, exactly. They know what these things mean. So we've got our trigger issue created, which means your automation rule is going to run a lot, but that's okay. Issue type equals marketing asset. Okay, so far so good. Summary contains social media. Nice. Edit the issue label. Nice. Even throws in social media. It wasn't able to shoulder the subtasks, but to kind of Brian's point, again, it gets us about 90% there. Yeah. All we have to do is punch in our subtasks. Yeah, exactly. All you have to do is punch in your subtasks and you're off to the races. And so again, with any kind of AI tool, it's just kind of helping you along, getting you sometimes 80 to 90% there.
And what's nice is that because this is already baked into the premium product, you're hopefully saving a ton of time now, which is the name of the game going forward, I think, is who can use AI to save the most time.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. Something, now let's say you're not a project admin, Jira admin that's creating automation rules. Something that I could see pretty much everybody using almost every day is the issue search. And so it's pretty powerful. What I think I like the most about it is, even though I'm an Atlassian certified professional and I had to know JQL in order to pass all those tests, I don't always remember all the JQL functions and pieces. And Atlassian Cloud does a really good job, or Jira Cloud does a really good job of helping you along as you're typing in JQL. But I think what's really amazing about AI-powered search or Atlassian Intelligence powered search is the ability to literally just type in a sentence of what you're looking for. And so if you're in your issue search, you're looking at all, your entire instance, you can click this Atlassian Intelligence button. And I think what was most difficult for me when I was learning JQL was anything date-based.
Yes.
And just remembering the operators and all the different characters that need to happen. And so, we'll get to date-based in a moment, but let's just do something basic. So we'll say search for all issues assigned to me, and that also have the word, and I'll even put it in quotes, will be nice to Jira, webinar in the summary. Let's see what it does. Nice.
That sure looks right.
It looks right to me too. So we've got all of these issues, and these are actually issues from my personal task list in Jira and task list in Jira. Yeah, funny enough. So I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit here, folks. But what's really cool in the spirit of JQL, it actually gives you the JQL query that you would need in order to search for this. Which is super helpful. Even going back to automation rules, sometimes we need to call upon JQL queries in our automation rules. So honestly, you could use AI to give you the exact query that you would need to search for these issues if you need to use JQL elsewhere in your instance, which is pretty neat.
This is also really helpful for getting more business users into Jira. I know that there's a lot of team or companies out there that have a lot of IT teams in Jira, and they're starting to bring more business in. You also see Atlassian reacting to that with the new UI, easier to use interfaces. So this is just one more piece of helping people get in there and lowering the hurdle.
Yes, it's awesome. I'm really distracted. Find the Project Donut planes. Wow, these are incredible suggestions. I kind of want to search for those.
I was kind of wondering about Pizza Forest.
Pizza Forest. We're referring to the text that's scrolling across the screen. We've got some comedians over at Atlassian. I love it. Let's do something date-based as promised. So let's say all issues, it corrected my horrible typing, assigned to me and were created last month. You can even give it a poor English and it still knows what to do.
Oh, then that's right.
So we've got assignee as current user, that's me. And these are the pieces that I can never remember.
Yeah.
What do I add a minus? When am I adding no minus to the month or greater than or less than? And created less than start of month, order by created descending. And so again, any kind of date-based query becomes very easy, very quickly.
And honestly, faster than you might be able to type it.
100%. Even if I know all of this down pat, it's going to save you a ton of time. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, let's jump to some really cool things or hopefully cool things. I think they're cool in Confluence. And very similarly, I want to kind of show you some of the same things thematically, creating content based on a prompt, rephrasing the content or restructuring it. And so I'm in my marketing Confluence space here. And one thing that I want to highlight that I thought was really neat, I know we're in a marketing space right now within Confluence, but let's pretend we're a development team and we're a Scrum Master, and we need an outline to conduct Scrum ceremonies, for example, that I need my team to follow. So let's create a new page here. And you can do that a couple different ways. If you're not familiar with Confluence, you can use the ever-present create button at the top, or you can actually create a page within the page tree like I just did. And let's just immediately go to the prompt here and let's click the write button. And let me write create an outline for Scrum ceremonies and hit enter. See what happens. Nice.
There we go.
So we've got a whole outline that we could run with and flesh out with obviously much more detail, but we get into sprint planning, the stand-up, sprint reviews, sprint retrospective, best practices, conclusion. And then in a matter of seconds, I can click insert, and then immediately I'm into my outline, fleshing it out. Really, really cool. So it's not only that Jira has the context for the line of work, which is really kind of cool.
I use this all the time to figure out things that would otherwise take me way more time to type out and to think about and to go for walks around the building as I brainstorm. 100%.
Yeah, and how often when we're coming up or developing content that we just need a working outline, and then the rest falls into place. Again, in this case, probably gets you about 20% there, and then saves you a ton of time. It's really, really cool. So I could publish this page. Oh, I do need to give it a title.
Oh,
look at that. I think this is new even from last month, because I think I've done that before.
Yeah.
But it gives you an AI generated title.
Loom does that too now with the when you record videos using Atlassian's video product Loom.
How cool is that? I love it. So you click accept, and then this is where you can choose your access. In this case, I want to be very generous with this page and leave it open to everybody to consume. And there you go. In a matter of seconds, you've got your outline for Scrum ceremonies. Let's bring it back to our marketing team example. Let's create another page here. This time I'll use the create function up here, just so you can see some variants there. And let's do, how about this? Let's do write and provide steps to develop a grassroots marketing campaign. Always misspelling campaign. It's an I before E, but it's an A before I situation. I don't know.
I think it's all those French words in English.
I think it is. There's G's and H's. All right, here we go. And then we can hit insert and even refine too, which is kind of cool. You can change your tone. You can summarize, make shorter, make longer, even translate.
That one's really cool.
For Brian, let's translate to German.
Yeah, super.
Look at that. Now, you'd probably be able to tell in seconds how accurate this would be.
I mean, not seconds, but yeah, it looks okay.
It looks okay. Yeah. And then we click insert, but then
it's
now
certainly German.
It's certainly German. Yes, there's some Z's and F's in there. Yeah. How cool is that though? But in seconds, we have a full step, not even just outlined, but step by step what Atlassian Intelligence thinks we should tackle for a grassroots marketing campaign. Pretty neat. Going to existing content, let's rephrase some here. So I'm in a, let's say this is like a mobile marketing campaign here, and I latched onto this section and it sounded just a little negative to me. I don't know, maybe it's just how I felt in the day, but the company's been losing customers over the past 3 years. That's not really like the morale booster that we want. So let's say
we've just been right-sizing ourselves. Yeah.
That's right. So we'll go ahead and highlight the text and let's click our little handy dandy Atlassian Intelligence button. Again, my favorite, empathetic. Let's see what it does. Facing challenges.
Oh, yeah.
And retaining customers over the past. See, that's much
We have
better
a retention challenge.
We have a retention challenge. Exactly. We could be much more careful with our language. Let's try casual.
Hey, dude, you lost people.
Yeah, right. A bit of a customer exodus. I love it. I love it.
It's an interesting choice for casual, but yeah.
But you click replace, and then immediately you've got a bit of a customer exodus versus we're losing customers left and right.
Yeah.
Anyway, humorous, but ultimately you can see how quickly we can rephrase the content and honestly make it a little bit more palatable in some cases.
Have you used the inline / AI function at all?
No, please. If you want to show, that'd be great.
If you're typing anywhere within a Confluence page, you probably know about like, I can't even think of, add a table or something, right? And it drops in a table or a table of contents and it just adds it, right? So there's that shortcut / key. There's a shortcut AI key as well.
Look at that.
And you can drop in a prompt right there. So just in line, don't have to move your mouse.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's super neat. Look at that. That's cool. Very, very cool. All right. And then also here's one thing that I use probably, I don't even know, maybe on a daily basis. A lot of my job is I'm in a client meeting. I'm taking notes as quickly as possible if I don't have some kind of scribe that's helping me out in the meeting. And you're just trying to capture as much as you can in the moment. And so a lot of times my notes end up looking like this, where they're barely legible. They may even have shoddy action items or something down here. I'm like, okay, this doesn't even make sense. You can highlight all of this here and click right. And here we go. Let's see what it does here. Oops. And let's say I'm trying to just figure out from these notes what I need to do. Let's see if it's able to do that. But one of the cool things, we got some beta features out here too. Rephrasing. Let's try that. Let's try rephrasing it. So let's replace. I like it. And then something that I think is really cool that it makes it tend to do is like often we're in a meeting and like, okay, what actually is coming out of this meeting? And I think the find action items function is super cool. And again, it may make an attempt. Some of these may or may not be actually relevant, but again, it pulls everything out that it thinks is an action item. We can insert below. And then now, not only have we rephrased shoddy notes by Sam, we've also, we got a spelling error there too, but we've also pulled out our action items.
List,
Yes, which is really, really cool. We can publish this, get it out to our team members very quickly, and they know exactly what they should be working on. We could jump in here and mention folks to where they get notified, but we've got our working list. I can get rid of a few. So let's say I don't like this here. No worries. Or maybe I don't want this one either. Perfect. But then in here, I could also mention myself, and then ultimately I'm going to get a notification, or any other person on my team is going to get a notification. But again, it just does some of the heavy lifting for you, and it allows you to pick and choose what you want, which is kind of cool. Cool. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the summarizing capability within.
This is one of my favorites.
It's pretty cool. Let's actually go to a pretty busy page here. Let's go to release readiness, for example. A lot of text on this page. We live in an ADD generation where we see more than a few paragraphs and we don't want to read. That's fine. I get that. It's down here at the bottom now. They moved it on me. Look at that. You just click summarize. It gives you the bulleted list. Exactly. Right. You click summarize. That's on a published page. If I wanted to go into a page that, let me find one here.
I also love, I haven't seen this before, but as you click around, it's just summarizing page after page.
That's really cool.
So if you're trying to onboard somebody, you could show them how to do this and say, just, go through our team's Confluence space, and this will at least tell you the high level of the shared knowledge that we have.
Yes, and that's actually the first time I've seen that. That's really cool. It's almost acting as a toggle.
Yeah,
because you're just navigating.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's really cool. And similarly, you can actually be editing a page, and you can highlight the text. Maybe. And this is a SAM issue, not an Atlassian Intelligence issue. But you could also get up here. I believe there's a summarize function in here as well. Summarize writing. So you could be editing and also summarize as you go, which is kind of cool. And then quite frankly, use it as an opportunity to replace what's there, which is kind of neat.
The other thing about the summarize function that I like is that, and I don't know if we've seen it, if you click on a different page, maybe, there's if you're on a page that has changed since the last time you were there, it'll say summarize changes.
Oh, no way.
And you'll be able to see like what's new.
That's cool.
So there you go.
There it is.
Yeah. So in a space that is very active, and you can say that, not since you were here last, but if you were there before, it knows that, and then it'll let you know what's new for you.
Look at that. Terminology and language adjustments.
Yeah.
Clarifications and rewording. You have the date when it was changed.
I love how it's judging the work that it did for you.
That's true. Yeah. It is judging it. I love it. How cool is that? Very, very cool. Well, with that, let's go back to our presentation just momentarily here. And just want to highlight at least a few features that are coming soon, and also highlight the fact that AI doesn't just live in Jira and Confluence. We've only got an hour today, and so we don't have time to jump into every piece of where it lives, but it really is just ubiquitous throughout the ecosystem at this point.
They've done a really good job finding excellent use cases to put it in. I think when this first came out, was it 2 years ago?
I think so.
Wow. Or at least when it was mentioned 2 years ago. I think people weren't really sure what to, or maybe it was last year. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I know, maybe 2. Anyway, I think people weren't sure where it was going to go, and it was all right, JQL and summarize a page. But they've done such a good job finding so many different places for it.
And it's just worked really seamlessly, honestly. Confluence features seem to be growing literally month to month. This list gets longer and longer and longer each month that I've done this webinar.
And that makes a lot of sense, right? Because Confluence is all about content.
Exactly. And so you've got all of these. I'm really interested in actually playing around with this one, the summarizing of whiteboard content and converting it to a page. I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
Drafting and we've talked about translating content. We witnessed that today. Really neat. Summarizing, yes. In-page comments. That could also be a big time saver.
Yep.
You got a bunch of folks working on one page at a time. You got a whole slew of comments to kind of leaf through.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Also, creating automation rules. That's kind of neat as well.
Also in Confluence now, yeah.
So a ton of features in Confluence. Similarly, in Jira, this is also growing by the minute. Defining words. We got some things in beta here as well.
It's in there twice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is in there twice. That's funny.
We need to ask Atlassian AI
to fix their documentation.
Tighten up our webinar text. Yeah.
Yes. But summarizing smart links from Confluence, that's an interesting one, and Google Docs. And so again, a ton. Yeah, natural language. We witnessed that today. coming soon. Find and surface key information from Confluence within a work item. Kind of neat.
So basically what those last two were is that while you're in Jira, you can say, summarize the stuff over in Confluence for me.
Yeah.
Which is actually a good segue into the next piece, which is Rovo.
Yeah.
But,
100%. Yeah. And with that, let's actually jump into that. All right.
So this is another demo instance, and this one actually is on that new UI that we were talking about. So if you're used to some other common workplace work tracking tools, I won't name any names, but this should look kind of familiar. And what we have over here is this is an additional AI product. And so Atlassian is marketing 4 tools right now as tools for every team. The first 2 are totally obvious: Jira and Confluence. Jira to track and structure and manage your work. Confluence to do all of the content that isn't necessarily a work item, but in the ideation of things that will then become work items or charters or whatever. Those are the first 2 pieces that Atlassian thinks are very important for every team. The third one is Loom, which if you haven't heard of Loom, Loom is a wonderful tool. I use it daily. And it is a web-based and for me browser-based quick video recorder. I then copy the link, I send it to my coworker, and I use it to do a talk track through a Confluence page. It's so much easier than sending a page and hoping they read it with the right emotion.
Right.
It basically turns text into a human, which is really nice.
Yes.
But then the fourth one is Rovo, which is the one we're going to show here. Rovo is a separate AI product. It's all about agents. And so the adjective for that is agentic AI. And it shows up in the form of chat. So when all of the other Atlassian Intelligence stuff that we were showing so far, that's more of your standard generative chat functionality. Rovo is about your own internal personal expert about the work that you're doing. And so you can have Rovo search not only Jira, not only Confluence, but also anything else that you hook up to it. Currently, you can connect it to Google Drive. I believe you can also connect it to SharePoint, and they're making more connections every month. And so the idea is that you could come to this chat agent right here, and you could, depending on the agent that you are interacting with, and we can do generic chat, or we can ask an agent. Let's just do a generic chat. If I have it configured, and I don't have it configured here, unfortunately, but basically I could say, tell me everything you know about project X, and it will search Jira to find out who's assigned to it. It'll search Confluence to find the project charter. It'll search Google Docs if you have access in Google Docs and surface the relevant information. And just like you see in ChatGPT nowadays, it'll show the reference links there so that you can double check. So it's this cross-platform, cross-product, in-house knowledge search agent, which is, I think, incredibly powerful.
Yes.
It is, I think, underappreciated in the ecosystem right now for probably 2 reasons. One, I think people just aren't ready to imagine that a chat can bring me all the company's information together.
Right.
But as a consultancy, we have this huge problem. We're always saying internally, hey, does anybody have a use case for this for a client?
Yes.
And with this, you can ask the chat first. It will search all the documentation that you've ever made and come up with its own version of it, or at least point you to the right stuff. So you can imagine for your own business case just how much knowledge will be brought together right there at once. I lost my train of thought there, but there's agents to talk about. So let's do that. Cool. So agents are kind of like custom prompt entities within chat. So for example, Atlassian has a number of them out of the box: Jira Theme Analyzer, Rovo Expert, Issue Organizer. And you can have a lot of agents. And basically, agents have built-in prompts that you define. One of my favorite examples was the Media Maven from Oh yeah, there you go. So social media writer. That'll
Oh,
work.
nice.
The social media writer agent, and I haven't actually looked into this one, so we're just seeing this live here. There we go. You're a social media writer, social media marketing strategist that can turn copy into social media posts. You help users with these tasks. If a user decides to edit and add company specific social media, add that context here. Don't add URLs directly. So basically, you can say take user data and always process it in the same way. You can also say, I want you to know only things from Confluence or only a certain Confluence space. So, here's our marketing space, or even just a specific page. This page has our branding guidelines, and you will always write things in accordance to our branding guidelines. Think about how much time you're saving right there.
No kidding.
So that one's really cool. So just as an example, right? You can give the agent prompts. You give it, I'm sorry, user prompts. You give it very complete instructions about how it behaves. And this is a trial and error kind of thing, just like all AI, you got to get the prompt right.
Right.
You can tell it what it needs to know, and you can allow it to do things now. So you can have it create a page. You can have it create an issue. You can have it go update an issue, add a comment on an issue, but only after a human confirms that the actions are okay. Kind of like the AI that Sam was showing a second ago, where you can, remove items and then add items before committing them. One of my favorites, though, is I made my own because I like to use silly examples when I'm trying new things. And this is so basically, please tell me what Sam is working on. And so it even tells you what's going on, which is another great AI feature just to avoid user fatigue. The illustrious Sam there, speaking of brilliance in a vast ocean of technology. Currently, we have no idea what he's working on.
I love it.
Certain that whatever he undertakes is done with the utmost dedication and skill. You can imagine on the background that what I told this agent to be.
I love it.
It is poetic and flowery.
It's the life of the party. Your agent's the life of the party. I love
You're an
it.
incredibly differential servant who enjoys praising people you interact with in a flowery and occasionally poetic manner. Obviously, you don't have to do that.
Yes,
but,
I love it.
That's just an example of what an agent could do with a prompt.
That's really neat.
So huge opportunities there. Currently underappreciated in the market. Obviously, this is the silliest and cheapest use case that we could give you. But you can imagine with the social media writer, the company guidelines, company translator, that could become very powerful.
That's pretty cool. And in that, where you typed in the instructions, is it pretty variable as far as what you can type in there? Does it have to be in a certain format?
Anything except telling it to lie.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, because I was noticing in the other, that you have paragraphs, bulleted lists, and it's able to determine everything that's in there and act accordingly.
I think of it just like a saved mega prompt that I would give to ChatGPT.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really good way of putting it. Wow, that's cool. Very neat. Well, thanks, Brian. That's an awesome introduction to Rovo. I honestly have not seen it in action that much myself, so that was really neat. That's really, really cool. Well, with that, I know we've only got about 7 minutes left. Let's jump back to our presentation here real quick. And let me make sure. So sorry, I'm probably giving you guys some motion sickness here. Just wanted to highlight a couple of things. First of all, please don't hesitate to reach out to Brian and myself, either directly via email, or I also encourage you to connect with both of us on LinkedIn. We'd love to network with you, understand maybe more of your potential use case for these tools that we've just given you just honestly the first blush with. There's really a whole lot of development happening in this space within the Atlassian ecosystem. So I encourage you to hold on to your hats, keep your ear close to what's going on with Atlassian Intelligence and Rovo within the ecosystem, because it's changing literally month to month, if not honestly week by week in a lot of ways. But please reach out to us here either directly with your questions. We're going to get to questions in just a moment. But I also wanted to mention and draw attention to some of our upcoming events. These are all on our website here as well, that I'll open so you have the URL for, but I'm sure Brianna's sharing it in the chat as well. But valiantystraining.com, please interact with the website and see what's coming down the pipeline.
If you scroll down just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Click on show more.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so we have all of these upcoming webinars, free webinars, paid classes, the
Yeah.
Jira Bootcamp that Sam mentioned earlier. It's a 3-day fire hose of all things Atlassian administration.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get started. Atlassian Analytics, this webinar, Jira Service Management.
Mhm.
If there's something in the Atlassian ecosystem that's teachable, you'll find it on this list.
100%. And I think, keep me honest here, Brian, but anything that says sign up is technically free.
Totally free.
Yep. So pay attention to the sign up button over here if you want free content similar to today.
Or you can go to our YouTube channel, which I think Brian is probably also posting in the chat right now. So this webinar, along with other webinars, also gets posted in YouTube whenever we're done. So any new stuff that you want to know about, you can, I don't know what you're supposed to say, hit that subscribe button.
Ring that bell.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right, whatever, yeah.
Maybe don't, but you can revisit it sometimes if you want to find some new content.
It's wonderful. Okay, well with that, let's jump over to our Q&A here. All right, we've got a few questions. Is there an ETA on HIPAA compliancy? Ooh, great question.
Ooh, if you go to Atlassian.com/cloud/roadmap, maybe. Atlassian, here, let me.
Yeah, please.
Atlassian's really good about posting a lot of their stuff on. I'm not sure if that's the URL. I really hope it is.
I think it is. It's close.
Rats, yeah. But they, yeah, here. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. When in doubt, Google. Oh, I'm sorry, roadmap/cloud. They're really good about this. So like HIPAA?
There it is.
HIPAA. So this is all of their original HIPAA stuff. They don't seem to have anything out there yet on their roadmap for HIPAA compliance for Rovo. But the other thing you could do is you could come in and you could click on Rovo. I don't see a specific Atlassian Intelligence one, so we can just say Rovo here, and then this will show you everything: data residency support, sandbox support, all that fun stuff. If you've never been to this site before, it's pretty awesome, and you can copy a link and send it to your boss and follow it, all that stuff.
Right. Very good. Great question. Will you get any warnings about using it too much before you get locked out? Yes, I believe so, or at least that's what I've consumed from the Atlassian documentation, is that they will say, hey, hold on here, like you're abusing this. So I do believe you get a warning. I have not witnessed it myself. I haven't tested it, but that's a great question. I do believe they give you at least some kind of flag.
If you could try it and let us know.
Right.
Love to see a screenshot.
Send us a loom. Yes, send us a loom. Yes, it's great. Let's see. Is there an API that comes with this product to be leveraged by internal tools to do the prompting?
Don't know.
Yeah, don't know for sure.
You can find out. If you send either of us an email,
yes,
we will find out and respond to you.
Yeah, please. It's a great question. Are you going to retain all the AI chat features, or how are you intending to filter and prioritize?
I'm guessing by you mean Atlassian, because Atlassian makes the products. We're just a solution partner that helps accelerate the products for you, the customer.
Yeah.
I don't know how Atlassian's prioritizing the chat features, but you've got the roadmap here, and if you've never been to, this is the other rabbit hole, Jira.Atlassian.com, and then you got to click on this link down here. This is a public-facing Jira instance of Atlassians where they track everything that they're building. And so oftentimes, if you are looking at like a public what do you call it? Like a public community forum, or basically in the forum, and there's something that somebody's asking for, like someone wants to add list members. That's a feature request on Trello. You can come in here, log in. Any Atlassian user can log in here, and then you can vote and watch this, and then you will get updates in your inbox every time somebody comments on it, every time Atlassian updates the status of it. This is a great way to follow feature requests.
Yeah, and encourage you to actually submit feature requests as well. I think you're at liberty to do so.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's all of our questions for today. Again,
And all of our time.
and I was going to say, and all of our time, but can't stress enough, please reach out to Brian and I directly via email or LinkedIn. I just want to take a moment to thank you guys so much for your attention today. Your level of engagement is greatly appreciated. It makes it more fun for us on a purely selfish basis.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us today. It's been truly awesome and fun to talk about this stuff with you. Again, hope to see you guys on YouTube. Hope to see you guys in some of our future classes.
Or in our inbox.
Or in our inbox. Thank you guys.
Have a great day.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.